We have created a series of videos to discuss Texas' long range plan for technology and how you can create a custom plan for your district. First, let's talk about who these videos are for and how to use them. Who is this for? This is designed to guide every district to create their own long range plan for technology. This can also be used to guide individual campuses and classroom teachers. Let's talk about what you will need to best utilize these videos. First, your team. Who in your district is a vital part of the technology conversation? How can you involve the necessary parties and decision makers? Second, bring your creativity. We all face new and evolving challenges daily as we do our best to serve our students. Our technological resources are important and exciting tools that create opportunities for us to think outside the box as we work together to plan for technology and education. Third, download the workbook associated with this module. We will be reflecting on what you're already doing, what you want to begin, and what your goals are. We will be talking about big ideas in these interactive videos. The workbook is a vital part of the process. See the link below to download your workbook now. What are some of the things you'll see in these videos? As we go, you'll see an orange box like this pop up periodically. These definitions will help expand on what we are discussing. You will also see this white folder. This is to remind you to check out the resources that help expand the topic being discussed. These videos are meant to be interactive. We will provide opportunities to pause the video throughout to reflect or make notes in your workbook. So go ahead, pause this video now to gather your supplies and print the workbook. Download using the link on your screen. What is the LRPT and how is it structured? The Long Range Plan for Technology, the LRPT, is an outline of strategic goals for technology in Texas and is intended to be used as a visionary guide to inform and influence educators as you make personalized decisions for your learners. The LRPT is structured into 6 strategic goals. Each strategic goal has 3 focus areas defined within it to help guide strategy creation. Each focus area is further broken down to include the biggest challenge, suggested actions, and short and long-term outcomes. The larger LRPT structure informs how to use these videos and how their resources are structured. There is one video for each of the 18 focus areas. This will allow you to watch the videos in order of what's most pertinent for your district. Each video will introduce the strategic goal and one focus area within it, digging into the challenge, each suggested action, and the short and long-term outcomes. Now, let's look at the LRPT structure as a whole. Remember, the LRPT is first broken down into 6 strategic goals, incorporating statewide trends in technology. Goal number 1, personalized, flexible, empowered learning. Goal number 2, equitable access. Goal number 3, digital citizenship. Goal number 4, safety and security. Goal number 5, collaborative leadership. Goal number 6, reliable infrastructure. As you think about how these goals relate to your district, remember that every school district is unique, so every conversation will be unique. While many share a great deal of challenges, like budget, competing priorities, and security threats, each technology plan should be tailored to individual needs, opportunities, and constraints you have. It's because of this uniqueness that the larger goals are further broken down into 18 individual focus areas. Each focus area reviews challenges, suggested actions, and short-term and long-term outcomes. We will be expanding on this framework during this video, guiding you to build a plan that serves you best. Because it's most likely that you will go through these videos and topics as needed instead of the order of the document, we have built a reference guide to help you easily find where you are in the document, what's next, and what focus area you are in. LRPT will be the first part of the reference description. Next, you will see the strategic goal listed as G, followed by the goal number 1 through 6. Then, the focus area will be highlighted as F, followed by the focus number within the strategic goal, 1 through 3. Lastly, the current section of the focus area will be listed. This could be either the challenge, indicated with a C, one of the actions, indicated with an A and the number, or the short-term or long-term outcome, indicated with either STO for short-term outcome or LTO for long-term outcome. Look for the reference diagram and reference notation in the corner of the slides throughout the video. The fifth of 6 strategic goals for Texas Long-Range Plan for Technology is collaborative leadership. Broadly, collaborative leadership is creating intentional opportunities for shared leadership and sharing of ideas and planning. To create an environment where this can thrive, it is important to establish group goals and norms, to use discussion and dialogue to work through conflict, to develop problem-solving and decision-making strategies to assure all voices are heard, and to ask what-if questions, to communicate openly with one another. Remember to pause this video to print your workbook if you haven't already. Now that we've introduced the strategic goal, let's review the focus areas. There are 3 focus areas to help guide the realization of this goal. 1, strategic planning. 2, shared services. And 3, state collaboration. Let's zoom in to focus area number 1. Focus area number 1 is strategic planning. For the purpose of collaborative leadership, what are we referring to when we discuss strategic planning in this video? Strategic planning is setting goals and holding accountability for stakeholders for effective use of technology. The quickest way to ensure technology will be ineffective in your district is to put it in a vacuum. Intentional planning allows stakeholders to make certain that groups come together to use technology to enhance the curriculum and improve the learning experience. For more ideas on strategic planning, check out the resources. Each district will plan for technology use in a slightly different manner as you make decisions aligned with your unique needs. That's why each focus area is broken down into the main challenge, action steps to be taken, and short and long-term outcomes to watch for. First, let's talk about the challenge of strategic planning for effective use of technology. Remember to download the workbook as a tool to collect your notes and reflections as we go. LEAs have many priorities and departments that compete for resources. Reflecting on your district, how are leadership groups working together to ensure clear and unified vision ownership? Putting another plan in place can feel daunting since organizations often have many plans already being used. This could include other strategic plans, curriculum plans, campus improvement plans, and technology plans. This often leads to silos and lack of ownership. For example, the curriculum staff may not take the ownership of a technology plan. Thinking through how this looks in your district, do you feel like the divisions of the district can function as if in silos? Circling back to the original question, how are leadership groups working together to ensure clear and unified vision ownership? Let's talk about the action steps that could get us there. Pause the video here to write your reflections on this challenge down in your workbook. We know the challenge. Now let's think about our first action. Action number 1 is to make certain that key stakeholders are involved in the creation and implementation of the strategic plan. These stakeholders could be unique to your district, but would commonly include school boards, education leaders, administrators, teachers, students, and parents. Pause the video here and use your workbook to note how you are and how you could build involving key stakeholders in strategic planning for technology. Another vital part of an effective strategic plan is to consider as many aspects in one plan as possible. Considering technology, curriculum, instruction, and professional development in one plan ensures consistent messaging and helps bring a more unified vision. Think about how messaging sounds in your district. When you think of your mission statement or other school materials, do they all sound like they were written by the same person? Most likely the answer is yes. If you were to write a plan with this type of one-voice messaging, what would it sound like? Use the resources below to help gain ideas for what this might look like in your district. Pause the video here and use your workbook to write some ideas for how you might consider all aspects in one plan that has consistent messaging throughout. Let's move on to action number 2. Effective planning requires a clear vision held by everyone involved and then incorporating technology in each appropriate area of the vision. As you think about how you can pair technology with the vision, consider these. Which areas of the overall vision would be appropriate for technology incorporation? What type of technology would fit in that space? Pause the video here and use your workbook to reflect on how you can best address these questions in your district. Once you have an idea of how you could better incorporate technology, it's important to be aware of the progress. This could look like measurable checkpoints or LEA-specific targeted goals. Remember to ensure stakeholders have ownership during every step of this process. If you aren't already, what would this goal look like in your district? Lastly, it's necessary to incorporate compliance requirements in the plan with budget and staffing needs. How is this included in your plan? Use the resources below to help guide this action step. Pause to use the workbook to reflect on how you are measuring progress and compliance. Now, let's move on to action number 3. Action number 3 in strategic planning is to evaluate effectiveness. We touched on this briefly in the previous action, but since this is a vital part to strategic planning, let's revisit before looking at the outcomes. You brainstormed measurable checkpoints and LEA-specific goals. Now think about how often you would assess these checkpoints and how you would use the goals to measure success of the plan's implementation. Use the resources below for more information on how to evaluate effectiveness. Pause the video here to reflect in your workbook on how you will evaluate effectiveness according to your district's unique goals. Now that we understand the challenge and have some actionable ideas, let's look at the outcomes. The short-term outcome of focusing on strategic planning is a clear set of priorities and actions to direct resources and ensure that all stakeholders are working toward common goals. When you think about your planning, would you define it as a clear set of priorities and actions that direct resources? What common goals will this plan allow stakeholders to work toward? Use the resources below as a tool for this outcome. Pause the video here to reflect on these questions in your workbook. Lastly, let's review the long-term outcome. The long-term outcome of this focus area is a proactive, efficient organization working together to achieve vision and optimize costs. In addition to achieving the specific vision tied to this plan, what else would optimizing costs allow your district to achieve? Use your worksheet to reflect on what a proactive and efficient organization would look like and what it could help you achieve for students. We've covered everything for this focus area. Now what? Continue to reflect on what you are doing and what you have done in support of this focus area. What obstacles and successes came to mind during this video? Who else should be included in this conversation? Find your team. Who is needed to move this focus area forward? Use your workbook and the provided resources as a starting point for a larger conversation around this goal. Start with action 1 and work with your team through each action step to make this a sustainable and customized plan for your district. The ideas you're writing in your workbook will be the material you use to build your district's LRPT. How will you use this reflection process to inform your plan? Lastly, write a short summary statement for this focus area. How would you summarize what you've done and what you need to do for this focus area based on your work so far? Pause the video here to write down your summary statement in your workbook. Thank you for your work to transform Texas education through technology.